Hello everybody, this is Baka Zombie. Welcome back to another Pokemon TCG video. This week we're going to be looking at a deck that came out of the Twilight Masquerade set. It's almost entirely comprised of Twilight Masquerade, at least in the Pokemon section. Of course, you're not going to really be able to do that with trainers, but I think all but one of these Pokemon are from Twilight Masquerade. So brand new deck, basically. I know we're expecting a new set to be coming out soon, but this is the newest set. So enough floundering. Let's get into what makes up this deck. This is gonna be, I consider it a Dipplin deck. I guess technically it's a Festival Grounds deck because that is one of the major linchpins of this deck. But we're gonna look at Dipplin. Dipplin does have the ability Festival Lead. If Festival Grounds is in play, this Pokemon may use an attack it has twice. If the first attack knocks out your opponent's active Pokemon, you may attack again after your opponent chooses a new active Pokemon. Now that's kind of a crazy ability. Thankfully, Dipplin's attack doesn't make it super broke. It is strong, but it's not broken by any means, especially because of a lot of the breaking points for a lot of the big EX Pokemons. HP pools kind of keep Dipplin from being able to KO a lot of those big EX Pokemon consistently. But if you can get rolling faster than your opponent, it is very easy to just roll through them. So we talked about Dipplin's ability, but its attack, Do the Wave, this is a very traditional Pokemon TCG attack all the way back to, I know it was in Jungle set with Wigglytuff. I don't know if it was in base set, but like all the way since Gen 1, this move has been in the trading card game. Do the Wave 20 times the amount of Pokemon on both your for only your bench Pokemon. I thought it was like when I said each, when I read each, I'm like, oh, that's for both sides. But no, I knew it was only for your side because I know Dipplin's attack gets to 100 damage. So with Festival Lead, this attack does effectively 200 damage. But if you knock out your opponent with the first 100 damage, you then get to attack the next Pokemon that's coming into the active spot before your turn ends. So it becomes this rolling effect that if you can get it set up well, you can just start KOing Pokemon left and right. So it's going to be all about setting up this Dipplin to do as much damage as it can. Some of the supporting Pokemon we see alongside Dipplin, we have Thwackey. That's right, Thwackey, not the Rillaboom. Rillaboom is in this deck, and we'll talk about it in a second, but Thwackey is the main one. It's one of these Stage 1 Mons, the middle stage Mons that give their ability gives you a draw effect. And this isn't necessarily a draw, it's a little bit better. The ability Boom Boom Grove, once in your turn, if your active Pokemon has the Festival Lead ability, which our Dipplin does, you may search your deck for a card and then put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck after. So it's kind of a worse Pidgeot because you specifically need a Pokemon with the Festival Lead ability in the active, but it's also not a Stage 2. You're not giving your opponent 2 prize cards if they knock it out. Like a lot of Pidgeots don't get knocked out, I know, but hey. But yeah, that's what you're going to be using Thwackey for. If you want to use, there is a single copy of Rillaboom in this deck. You're probably only going to be using the first attack for a single Grass Energy. Drum Beating does 60 damage. And then during your opponent's next turn, attacks used by the defending Pokemon cost 1 colorless energy more, and it's a retreat cost. It's 1 colorless energy more. So Rillaboom is there to stall if you really need it. You're typically not going to be relying on the Rillaboom. Dipplin is your main attacker in this deck. Rillaboom is just there for backup. It can do 180 damage if you really need it in a pinch for 2 Grass Energy. You also do 50 damage yourself. Again, Rillaboom, not their main attacker. That's why we only have 1 copy in here, as opposed to the 4/4 Grookey Thwackey line. Speaking of other supporter Pokemon, we have Rabsca with the ability Spherical Shield. Prevent all damage from and effects of attacks from your opponent's Pokemon done to your bench Pokemon. So this stops Dragapult from hitting your bench. It stops anything that does damage to the bench. It would stop Sableye. Anything that's going to try and do damage or try to hurt your bench by placing damage counters, Rabsca is going to be able to stop. You also have, for single Grass Energy, Psychic does 10 plus 30 for 10 plus 30 more damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. So if your opponent's running someone with a lot of energies, hit him with a Rabsca. Again, all of these are single prize Pokemon, so your opponent has to knock out 6 Pokemon, unless they're running something like an Iron Hands EX, to win the game. We also run a single copy of Goldeen. Now, some Dipplin decks don't run the Goldeen. I wanted to find a list that ran Goldeen. I am using a list. I didn't make up this deck on my own, or this version of this deck on my own. Player by the name of Kanoas. I found the list on limitlesstcg.com. Good place to find lists for decks if you aren't super familiar enough with these decks to build your own. Limitless TCG is a very good resource to do so, and so what I make a lot of these videos using lists from there. So yeah, Goldeen. We're talking about Goldeen. I wanted to find a list with Goldeen in it. It's not super good, and I probably won't ever end up using it. It is another Festival Lead Pokemon that gets to attack twice, but it is 2 colorless energy, and we'll see in a second that we don't have a ton of energy in this deck because a lot of our attackers rely on a single energy, so we don't really want to be using Goldeen, but it can come in handy in a pinch because for 2 colorless energies, only doing 10 damage. But you get to flip a coin of heads, discard an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. So it's like a crushing hammer, but a little worse. A lot worse, I should say. But Goldeen is there if you need to have a Festival Lead Mon, if you don't have a Dipplin ready. This is a basic Pokemon with Festival Lead for your Thwackey. Also just there to build up your bench, to build up that dip. That little Dippy Doodah, that Dipplin. I'm going to call him Dippy Doodah a lot. I'm not going to lie. The name of the deck is Dippy Doo, so... but for our last Pokemon, this is the... actually, this is a Twilight Masquerade Pokemon. I lied. All the Pokemon in this deck are from Twilight Masquerade. We do have a Tatsugiri. With its ability, attract customers. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, you may look at the top 6 cards of your deck, reveal a supporter card you find there, and put it into your hand. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck. In my opinion, this is a worse Pokegear, right? Because Pokegear, you get to look at the top 7 cards of your deck, and then choose a supporter. You don't have to have Pokemon in the active that you're not using actively, because this Tatsugiri is not going to be able to attack. It doesn't use any of the energy that are in this deck, which is only grass energy. And then you have to get the Tatsugiri out of the active spot if you're trying to attack that turn. Tatsugiri, typically, I would assume you try to use turn 1 if you can. We only run 1 copy in here. Again, I'd rather run Pokegear, but I know people run Tatsugiri. I've talked with my friend about it, my friend Genji, who I play D&D with. And we both aren't, like, super hyped on Tatsugiri, but I wanted to give it a shot just to see how it feels. Who knows? Maybe I'll become a Tatsugiri fan, but I doubt it. I think I'd rather run Pokegear, in all honesty. Other than that, is there any more unique cards in here? We do have Bug Catching Set. We've had that in a previous deck, so I won't talk about it here. Festival Grounds is going to be a new stadium card that we haven't seen before. For each Pokemon that has any energy attached to it, both yours and your opponent's, recovers from all special conditions and can't be affected by any special conditions. So special conditions really aren't a thing right now in the TCG. There are cards that do it, but they aren't super popular. Because honestly, a lot of conditions are really easy to cleanse. You can either just switch to the bench, you can evolve. Those are basically the 2 ways to do it. I'm sure there's trader cards and stuff that do it, but those are like the ways that any deck can do it. So that Festival Grounds, honestly, is there just for the Festival Lead ability. But this is a card to be thinking about for the future because the Shrouded Fable set, a lot of Pokemon have things to do with poison. So Festival Grounds could be a good counter to any of those poison decks that are coming out with the next set. Because I believe there's a lot of options to poison your opponents as well as poison yourself. So if those Pokemon need energy to attack when they're poisoned by poison themselves, you can play Festival Grounds to stop that. So this is just for more of the future things, more to keep in mind in the future. But Festival Grounds is important for this deck as well, just not for the card itself. I guess it's more for the card itself, not the effects of the card, right? Anything else in here? We do run a single Kieran. There's a lot of words on there. I'm not going to read it all out to you, but it's effectively... you get to either switch with this card or you can do extra damage to opponents' active Pokemon's EX and V Pokemon. So you do an extra 30, which again, it helps Dipplin break a lot of breaking points. I don't want to use break twice, but I had to. Breaking points against Pokemon, because instead of doing only 100, Dipplin was doing 130, and it does 130 twice, so it does 260, which can KO a lot of EXs. So we got the Kieran. We have Lana's Aid, put up to 3 in any combination of Pokemon that don't have a rule box and basic energy cards from your discard pile in your hand. We don't have any rule box Pokemon because we don't run any EXs or V Pokemon. Or Radiant Pokemon. And then we only have basic energies, so Lana can search for any of our Pokemon and any of our energies. We have a Roseanne's Backup, which we have talked about in the Conkeldurr deck. We can choose one or more to shuffle a Pokemon from your discard pile into your deck. Probably won't be doing that because we do have Super Rod for that. Shuffle a Pokemon tool card from your discard pile in your deck. Don't run tools in here. Actually, no, there's a few tools. We'll get to those in a second as well. Shuffle a Stadium back, your discard pile back in your deck. Stadiums are going to be important. Get our Festival Grounds back. And then shuffle energies. Again, Super Rod for energies. So, for the tools that I just said we don't have, but we have actually a ton of, we have Defiance Band. This is another additional 30 damage for the Dipplin, but your opponent has to be in the lead because they have to have taken more prize cards than you. We have Maximum Belt as our ace spec. This allows our active Pokemon, our attacks from our Pokemon, to do an additional 50 damage to EX Pokemon. So again, do 150 on Dipplin, do it twice, 300. KOs almost everything except for Charizard, Gardevoir, Dragapult. I'm sure there's a couple others, but those are like the most common EXs with more than 300 HP, right? What else we got? We got a Rescue Board. We know about Rescue Boards. We got both Technical Machine Devolution, which as an attack for a single colorless energy, you get to evolve each of your opponent's evolved Pokemon by putting the highest stage evolution card into your opponent's hand. Good way to KO Pokemon that have a ton of damage on them. Like if a Dipplin misses out on some KOs, Devolution. We can also use Goldeen to do these Devolution and the Evolution, which you get to choose 2 of your bench Pokemon and then find evolutions for those cards and evolve them. So we can evolve some Applins or some Grookeys. We also have a single copy of Vitality Band. The attacks of this Pokemon this card is attached to do 10 more damage to each of your opponent's active Pokemon. So again, bringing Dipplin up to 110 as to opposed to 100, and then a total of 220 damage for the turn. Again, KOs a lot of Pokemon that Dipplin might miss out on. Like that would KO Teal Mask Ogerpon, whereas the Dipplin's normal attack would be 10 damage short. So, a lot of important breakpoint tool cards in this deck. We also have Arven to search for those. So, that is basically the deck outside the 5 grass energies we have, but you see those, you know what those are. We're going to get some battles with this deck, see if we can get it rolling, cooking, and you can see how devastating this deck actually can be. Alright, we always choose tails, we always lose. With this deck, I think we want to go first typically, so we can get the evolutions out on the following turn. But going second isn't the end of the world either, because we do have Technical Machine Evolution. We have the Tatsugiris to look for supporters, so we can play our supporters. So there's ways to do it. My opponent is going to go first, so we're going to see if we are able to do it. Okay, we did get a Grookey, an Applin, and a the Rabsca doesn't help us. And unfortunately, we pulled a Technical Machine De-Evolution and a bunch of supporters that aren't going to help us. So, yikes, in all honesty. I'm going to throw Dipplin up, or Applin, sorry, not Dippy. Not Dippy, but Applin. We're going second. Water deck. Is this going to be a freaking Shampoo? Well, we don't know because they have a Manaphy. Probably is a Shampoo though, right? You usually have Manaphy if you have little babies on your bench. Kind of like we do, but we don't have a Manaphy in this deck. Honestly, Manaphy might not be a bad shout for this deck, because this deck is just raring and ready for Dragapults to rip it apart. It's like, Applins have 40 HP, the Roller has, I think, 60, if not 50, the Goldeen has 50, the Grookeys are the only ones safe from getting KO'd by a Dragapult off the rip. So they're going to Ultra Ball, so we should be able to see what kind of deck this is, I would hope. If you can't tell what their deck is by turn 1, it's not a good draw for them. They do end up discarding a Water Energy. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? I don't know what else deck it could be. Yep, there's a Shenpao. As far as traditional decks go, obviously it could be any deck, but as far as traditional decks go, I think Shenpao is the only water deck running around right now. Alright, we pull a Thwackey, so next turn we can evolve our Grookey into Thwackey, but that doesn't help us. Technical Machine De-Evolution is going to be nice to hold on to for when they get the Excaliburs, right? Wow, this is so bad. So bad of a start. This is the worst start. I thought about adding Carmine to this deck. I just don't know what I'd get rid of. Like, instinctually, my brain tells me to get rid of Kieran. But I think that's because I have a disposition to hating Kieran because of the video game. Like, I understand why Kieran's in this deck. Wow. They get rid of a Rare Candy and a Super Energy Retrieval after already discarding a Water Energy, too. They do grab the Lumineon. Can you Lumineon for Iono, please? Because I would like a new hand as well, if you could. If you could, that would be real cute. Nope. Professor's Research. Makes sense. Professor's Research away another Water Energy. A lot of Water Energies, gang. I'm sure you got Super Odds and more Superior Energy Retrievals. They get the Buddy-Buddy so they can get the Bidoof and the Frigibax. Shenpao is one of those ones where we need at least the Vitality Band to KO it, because it is a 220. I'm looking forward thinking we're going to be able to KO Shenpao at any point. With how bad this opening hand was. They're going to Earthen Vessel. Get rid of a Buddy-Buddy. They don't need that anymore. They got their little Frigibax. 200 energies, just manually attached to Shenpao for the turn. Manaphy just going to hang out for another turn? I'm okay with that. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Professor's Research. I'm not opposed. I think we're going to have to. Unfortunately, we're going to have to get rid of the Technical Machine De-Evolution, but Excalibur is not the hardest thing to KO either. I know I do a deck review at the top of these videos, but I instantly forget if things are in this deck. Like, do we have Boss's Orders? I don't know. I don't think so. We got an Applin. We can Bug Catching Set to get a Grass Energy, because that's all that's there. We do have an Iono now. We only have the Rabsca in the discard to Super Rod for. Gosh, this is not going awesome. Even hitting the Professor's Research. Like, where is my Festival Grounds? Where are my Dippies? We get the head, so we do 30 damage. Hey, get this Manaphy out of the active or I'll kill it. Gotta put that pressure on, you know? Okay, they're going to finally retreat their Manaphy into their Shenpao. They're going to KO my Applin. Thankfully, I have a second Applin. We're going to Shivery Chill, get 2 more Water Energies, of course. Thing is, are they going to get Excalibur and or Barrel on this turn? Because that'd be bad. We'd be in a real pickle if that were the case. What is it? What is it, gang? What's happening? Lake Acuity. All your Pokemon that have any water or fighting energy take 20 less damage from opponent's Pokemon. If I have anything to say about it, that Lake Acuity will be gone before we attack anyway. They are going to just Hail Blade. They only have to discard 1 energy here, which is nice for them. Must be nice. And they're going to get their prize. Okay. Applin, get up there, bud. It's your turn to die. Wow. Alright. Well, do I have to Rillaboom here? Do I seriously have to Rillaboom here? Grass Energy onto the Applin. I'm not going to play Rillaboom. Not yet. Super Rod. I don't think we need... I'd rather not Super Rod right now, though. Because I don't want to be pulling those cards when I need different cards. Okay, we get a Dippy. We do get a Dippy and a Festival Grounds. So let's get the Festival Grounds out there for sure. Get a Dippy. Get a Goldeen, a Goldango. Now I can Boom Boom Grove to get a. I almost threw and grabbed an Applin. I want a Buddy-Buddy. I want a Buddy-Buddy Poffin. Play the Buddy-Buddy Poffin. Grab an Applin and a Grookey. Right? What's in our hand? Do we have a Thwackey? No. Do we just grab 2 Applins? Let's do that. It's 2 Applins. And then we can do the wave, which unfortunately doesn't KO, but it's gonna bring it real close. Yes, perform another attack. Do the wave. We needed 1 more bench and at least the Vitality Band to be able to KO the Shampoo. Gonna rare candies, like, get their Baxcalibur finally. So they're gonna be able to KO Dipplin this turn, no matter what. I mean, they would have anyway. Sorry, my beard and mustache hair are good in my mouth. I need to trim this thing down. They would have been able to anyway, because they just had to manually attach 1 water energy to the Shampoo. But now they aren't out of water energy next turn. Okay, they're going to drop the Artibex and the Frigibax. They're going to grab the, not the Frigibax, Artibex and the Baxcalibur. Grab a barrel. I'm going to grab a barrel, and then they can draw 2 cards. I mean, they can attach the water energies first and then draw a bunch of cards. So they're doing better than us. Not gonna lie, they're doing better than us. Super Gold. They have at least 2 water energies in their hand. There's the 2. They attach an Luminion. Why? Are you that confident that you're going to be able to pull a water energy with this barrel? I mean, I couldn't see why they wouldn't be able to. Or at least get a way to get a water energy out of the discard pile. Well, that's kind of wild that they just attached the Luminion. Is Luminion weak to electric? It is. Why can't you be weak to grass? I mean, Luminion's one of those ones I can KO with the full power do the wave without any boosts. Did they throw? Nope, superior energy retrieval. I was gonna say they were taking quite a while. What are you discarding, gang? There you go. Super Rod and a Nest Ball. So yeah, bunch of water energies. They're good to go. The thing is, we're not in an awesome position for next turn. I think what I'm going to have to do is promote the Goldeen. Just promote the Goldeen. Arven for the Technical Machine Evolution, because that's still a thing, right? We still have that hanging around? Yeah, we just got rid of our de-evolution. Because there's no way to actually search for Dipplin directly. I mean, we can Bug Catching Set to fish for one, but it's more guaranteed if we go with the Goldeen. And the Goldeen will allow us to Thwackey, actually. Actually, yeah. Thwackey, ooh, actually, that's kind of good. So, actually, wait, why did the Luminion come out? They're going to boss his orders. Don't pull up my Goldeen. My Thwacky's also bad. Don't do that to Thwackey. Don't do that to my Thwackey. Actually, hold on. Now Dippy-Doo gets to keep rolling. That's strange. Why did you do that? Why didn't you just KO my Dip? I would have been in such a worse position if they would have KO'd my Dipplin. I mean, I kind of had a way around it, but I would have taken another turn, right? Dip. My boy Dip. Pull a Rescue Board. Arven. I'm gonna Defiance Band here, I think. I don't have a counter catcher in this part of my hand, in my deck. It's in my prizes, it looks like. But I can Buddy-Buddy here. Calm down, calm down. Alright. So now we can Buddy-Buddy. Get a Grookey and a Grookey, so you can stop killing my Thwackies. We can attach a Defiance Band here. Just so I can scare whatever comes in here. Because if it's a barrel, I'll kill it. If it's Excalibur, it'll be down to 30. If it's this Shampoo, it's set up for KO to the following turn, right? I can attach a Grass Energy to this Applin. And then we Dippy-Doo on him. We do the Dippy-Doo. KO this Manaphy. Get a prize card off the Manaphy. Get an Iono, which will be helpful next turn. Now, they have to decide here. Do they throw? Do they know what Dipplin does? Okay, they don't throw. There's another 130 for your Shampoo. There we go. And there we go. Radiant Greninja. Radiant Greninja. They'd have no water energies on the board here. I'm going to conceal cards one of them away. Now, do you barrel? Well, you don't have to barrel before you water energies, because you can always get your water energies out on the field. So that's not an issue. We're in a super cold here already. Why don't you Shivering Chill before super colding? Just do it all at once, you know? Put a Frigibax down. Industrious Incisors. Excuse me. They're going to Irida. What are you Iridine for? So you get a water Pokemon and a item. What's your item going to be? Excalibur and Superior Energy Retrieval. Got it. They're setting up another Excalibur in case I kill one. Superior Energy Retrieval, of course. Get a bunch of energies from their discard. How many do they even have in there? It can't be many. It's only 3. It is only 3. They retreat the Shampoo. I mean, I get why. It's because I have to attack the Greninja twice. Oh, the Greninja's gonna try and KO both my Grookeys. You are obsessed with KOing my Grookeys. It's kind of cringe, in all honesty. The Grookeys are the least of my concern. Okay, you do KO the Dipplin. I was gonna say, if you leave the Dipplin for another turn... Oh, and they KO the Applin. Okay. They actually just don't do anything to my Grookeys. Interesting. Okay, I promote the Goldeen here. I'm gonna attach the Rescue Board to the Goldeen. I'm gonna Iono my opponent down to 2 cards. Okay, I do pull 2 Dipplins. I also pull a Bug Catching Set. Can I get a Thwackey? There we go. We actually get 2 Thwackies and a Grass Energy. I'm gonna ensure that I can attack this turn by grabbing the Grass Energy. Done. Actually, I guess Thwackey could have grabbed a grass energy, right? Evolve Thwackey. Attach an energy to Applin. Evolve into Dippy-Doo. I don't necessarily need a Buddy-Buddy Poffin this turn. Actually, I should get it though, right? Yeah, let's Boom Boom Grove. Boom Boom Grove. I don't have any Dipplins, actually. Hold the phone. Grab a Super Rod instead, please. I need Dipplins. Super Rod. What are we looking like on energies in here, too? We have 3. We have 1 on the field. That means there's only 1 energy floating around, so I might as well get 1 more energy. And get me an Applin and an Applin, huh? A couple Applins. So now I can retreat. The dip. Unfortunately, I don't think dip does enough. Yeah, it's just short of KOing. Yeah. But if my opponent is unable to attack this next turn... Get out of here, you freaking fly. I always have flies near because the screens on my windows suck. So there's just flies coming in the windows. And honestly, I should just keep all my windows and doors shut and then turn on my AC, but I refuse. Okay, they had a superior energy retrieval, so I think we're just... Yeah, we're just Dunzo Bunzo, unfortunately. This means the Greninja can just get double KO. We tried to climb back from such a terrible start, but... This is why you don't see this deck a ton, because it is rough. But once it, like, when you get it rolling, it does roll. Right? So yeah, Greninja's just gonna be able to KO us here. Ow. And then ow. That sucks. Trying to think. Any misplays we made? It's like I could have grabbed 2 Thwackies, but I still would have needed to get a energy. I guess I could have Thwackied for a professor's research. I don't remember seeing it. Having our counter catcher prize kind of blew, but probably made a few misplays in there. But we're gonna try one more battle here, see if we can get a little bit luckier this time. All right, we always choose tails. We always lose. That fly is still here. Oh, it landed on my mic. I don't know if you guys heard that. But we killed it. Do you want to go first? Yes, we're going to try going first this time. See if it works out a little bit better for us. Get those evolutions rolling. Okay. We got 2 Applins and a Dippy. So we for sure have a Dippy next turn. My opponent mulligans. Oh, it's the Future Mons deck. I was going to say, their name is Breloom Mon. If they're not playing some kind of Breloom deck, then they're a coward. And I'm going to have to say, they're a coward. Unfortunately for them, they are a coward. So I get the 1 mulligan. Tatsugiri. There's Iron Crown. Another Applin. We're just going to chuck a bunch of Applins out here. I'm going to Bug Catching Set. I do get a Grass Energy. I'm going to grab a Grass Energy and a Dip. We're actually going to play Tatsugiri, attach the Grass Energy to Applin, retreat out of Applin into Tatsugiri. Tatsugiri is going to attract some customers. We're going to grab the Professor's Research. And honestly, at the end of the day, not bad. Tatsugiri, kind of coming through there. I'll give it to you. But I had to get rid of a Grass Energy to do that. Whereas I could have just played a Pokegear. But then our Applin would have been KO'd. You know, it's a whole thing. It has its ups and downs. You know, actually, I don't know that Applin will get KO'd here, even if it was in the active, because they start with an Iron Crown, so they gotta spend some resources to get something else in the active. And I don't think this... I can't remember how much the Miraidon in this deck does for its basic attack. It might be 40, but it might only be 30 or 20. Miraidon, let's find out. Here it is. It does 40, so it would KO an Applin. Attached to the electric energy, do you have a switch? Or, no, you would use the future energy capsule booster. Because that gets free retreat costs for future mons. They're going to Arven for it. So they will get it. And they'll start powering up here. They're gonna want to find their iron hands as quick as they can. So they can get 2 prize cards off my little babies instead of just the 1. Because Ampy very much easily KOs anything in my deck, except for the Rillaboom. Do we go with the Rillaboom? I don't want to. Get rid of a Pokegear for the Techno Radar. Discard card. Search your deck for 2 future mons. Okay. I assume they grabbed an Iron Hands. I saw an Iron... Yep, I thought I saw an Iron Hands. So Iron Crown. They're going to bring in the Miraidon. The Miraidon's going to peak acceleration, which doesn't KO me. Oh, it does. Oh, because of the Iron Crowns. I was like, dragons don't have a weakness, though. They're going to set up the Iron Hands, or get it close to being set up. KO my poor little Tatsugiri, like it did something wrong, when it didn't. Let's just point that out. It didn't do anything wrong. I hate that I'm going to have to get rid of 2 Arvens, but I am. Applin. Applin. Professor's Research. An Applin. A lot of Applins. A Grookey. A Buddy-Buddy Poffin. For another Grookey. And a Grookey. 3 Grookeys. Bug Catching Set. Frick. We don't get an energy, which really sucks. Which really, really sucks. I mean, there's nothing I can do. I'm just depending. Yeah. Let's switch into a Grookey. Sorry, Grookey, you gotta die, son. And then pass the turn. Hee. Not getting a grass energy off of that Bug Catching Set as a dagger. We could have KO'd this Miraidon. And they set up a second Miraidon. So you can Heavy Ball. We do want to find the Vitality Band. So we can hit the Miraidons. Because wasting our second attack on Miraidon kind of sucks. Okay, thankfully we didn't place on our Maximum Belt too early and get lost vacuumed. But I do have a Thwackey this next turn. Electric Generator for nothing. They're going to be able to power up their Iron Hands here. There's the Iron Thorns. Electric Energy onto the Iron Hands. And then just peak acceleration to KO my Grooks. Sorry, Grookey. You had to take the hit, son. So now I need an energy. I need a another Pokemon on my bench. And I need the Vitality Band. Or the Defiance Band. Either one of the bands. So bring up a Dippy. A little Dippy-Doo. My turn. Boss's orders. Not what I wanted. Evolving a Thwackey. Oh, I also need the Festival Grounds. Where is everything I need? I only have 1 Professor's Research in this deck, too. Yikes. I'm going to attach the Maximum Band to this Dippy. Thwackey. We need a good supporter here, bud. Buddy boy. Iono, I think, is our best option, unfortunately. Yep. Yep, it is. Grab the Iono. Alright, Iono. I need a Pokemon, Festival Grounds, Grass Energy, Vitality Band. I just need 4 cards off of these 6. Let's go. Festival Grounds Energy. No Vitality. We do have a Buddy-Buddy, so we can get another Pokemon. Grookey? My boy Grookey? We do have one Grass Energy here. There's about to be another, so I'll save the Super Rod. Just going to attach for the turn. Festival Grounds. So I'll be able to KO this Miraidon at the least. Next turn with Arven, I can grab something. Let's just do the wave here. So we'll get the KO on this Miraidon. Unfortunately, it's all into this Miraidon. You see where 100 isn't quite the damage breaking point you want to have when you're hitting twice, because it's just like you're hitting once anyway. It's a lot of resources just to do enough damage to KO a little basic mon. And like Cramorant shares that HP point that Miraidon has. So here comes another Miraidon. I mean, thankfully next turn I should be able to KO the Miraidon, right? Hopefully, because I have Arven. I have Arven and I have Thwackey, I should say. And Peak Acceleration to KO my Dipplin. Here's the issue. I don't know that I can KO enough Pokemon. I might be able to. Go Dipplin. Okay, Arven's not what I wanted to see there. Arven is in fact not what I wanted to see there. Super Rod. Grass. Grookey. Okay, I have to Arven here. Arven for Vitality. No Buddy-Buddy's kind of rough. I'm gonna grab a Bug Catching Set. Okay. At least we get the Grass Energies, and we can Thwackey for the last Mon. Attach the Vitality. Attach the Grass. Use Boom Boom Grove to grab Grookey. Play Grookey. And then we do the wave to KO this Miraidon. Get a single energy. There's our Buddy-Buddy. I think we're too far behind at this point, unfortunately. And with them having an Iron Hands. Okay, they bring the Iron Hands out. Bringing the Iron Hands out is interesting. Because this means we get to KO Iron Hands next turn. And do damage to a Pokemon on the bench. Well, no, actually. I think they still win no matter what. Because they have an Iron Thorns and an Iron Hands built up. The Iron Hands takes 2 prize cards. And then the Iron Thorns comes in and KOs something. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think we just lose. Because the whole, like, one of the upsides of this deck is that they have to take 6 prizes, but an Iron Hands just gets around that. It's just an unfortunate matchup. Because we were just a little bit too slow getting Pokemon out that we needed. They were able to set up too quickly. So yeah, Iron Thorns, yeah, it does 140. Eep! Eep! I'm trying to think if there's any way around this. And I'm thinking no. I think it's just inevitable, unfortunately. It's like I can boss order something up and KO it, but it just doesn't matter. I wonder if it's worth it to run Legacy Energy in this deck instead of this band that I got on. We can Buddy-Buddy here. Get Applin. I'm gonna Thwackey first, just so we can look through our deck to see if there's anything worth our time in here. I already attached an energy for the turn, otherwise Rillaboom might have been a fun option. It's 180. It's not enough. It's just not enough, man. I mean, I think we just lost no matter what, so it doesn't really matter what I grab. We just lose no matter what, so it doesn't really matter what I grab. Yeah, let's just play it. Kieran. At least we get to show Kieran work. You're doing something. Do the wave for 180. Yeah, and this is the most damage Dipplin can do in a turn, right? Just 180 with Kieran and the band. Yep, gonna be 50 short of KOing the Iron Thorns. Unfortunately, they're just gonna turn around and smack me right in the face, KO me. So, the combination of just kind of not starting fast enough, and them having an Iron Hands. If they didn't have Iron Hands, we would have won this, actually. But, that's, again, this is why you don't see this deck a ton. Other decks are just faster. The breakpoint on damage is just so hard for Dipplin to hit. It's a fun idea. It just doesn't really come out in the wash, as it were. I'm excited to see if this deck gains any legs with the new set, Fable Shroud, because of all the poisoning conditions. If Festival Grounds is going to be if it's going to make this deck worth playing, or if you just use Festival Grounds in other decks. Also, in 2 sets from now, there's a Hydrapple EX that I'm interested in, and I wonder if just adding like 2 Hydrapple EX to this deck would make it any better. I don't know. We'll have to see. But thank you guys so much for joining us. Unfortunately, we didn't get a win with this deck, but it is a lot of fun, and it does work. I have been swept by this deck a couple times, so be sure to try it out for yourself if you have not already. Otherwise, we'll see you guys next time. Have a good night, everybody.